Welcome back to Ryogoku for the greatest sumo show on Earth. And for the first time this year, no jacket required. Amid the dwindling azaleas, are we still wearing masks? No sign of that ending. But unlike this time last year, we are allowed in. 87% of seats can now be sold, a pandemic high. But far from all of them were bought, perhaps due to a clash with the final day of spring break. Lack of access to wrestlers for all but the best connected fans scarce helps these sales. But for us, arm's length relations will remain the norm until the summer tour restarts. Chairman Hakkaku's new term in office has brought job changes, with Coach Naruto, ex-Koto-Oshu, transferred to judging. This was his first in-ring conference. Still unused to those sandals. And his destiny with rival Kisenosato appears ever more shared. Nishonoseki also moved to judging and debuting on the same cushion. His first ringside seat, surely, since his last ever match. Grim memories flooding back? Or a man burdened by increased responsibility? Here are his latest recruits amid this silky sea of borrowed aprons. 34 young lads in total, fast-tracked to the rankings chart with no pre-sumo bouts. Those were scheduled for March, school graduation season, hence the numbers, but then cancelled due to fears of virus spread at graduation events. Thus, a free pass for them, and pre-sumo next week shall consist of May intake only. There were some fine lower division moves today, but the most pulsating contest overall, I think, was this. Teenager Moji turning the tables on 26-year-old Masuminato at the end of a thrust fest. While in Division 3, Kitaharima, nearly 36, sent Asabenke stumbling with sublime reverse steps. In Division 2, my eyes were on the 29-year-old debutant, whose name adorns this inaugural banner, Tochi Maru. The quickfire thruster needs quite some fortune to survive this commando course. Inspiration, though, he can draw from his new apron, featuring his hometown mascot of Nerimaru, it seems they look alike, and his new matchday belt. Azure blue is what his master once wore in Upper Division 1. It's also his old school colour. So I don't forget my roots, Maru explained. He disliked today's sumo though, saying, "I went in with both hands, but got parried. I just wasn't attack-minded enough. 8 wins for him this May would be a story. Second tier bout of the day, I feel, was this one. And while we may be convinced, Enho isn't. My attack and finishers are still not going to plan, he sighed. I've trained as I should, but have to close out better. Now you know Ichinojo is out. You may not know Ishiura is too. It's no surprise given we all saw this. The neck remains unhealed, and I suspect it was always his plan to miss May after rushing himself back to scavenge this extra win in March. Ishii will now fall to lower Division 2, not unpaid Division 3. Also out at the moment is Kyokutaisei, for whom the curtain must be nigh, and once more Asashiyu, who was t-shirted yesterday while his colleagues trained. A disastrous March saw Meisei lose 14 straight and fall so far as to warrant a first ever pairing with this youngster. But as April Interstable seemed to prove, his lower back is far better. Hit hard and thrust away was my plan, said badly cut Oho. But once he got moving, I was playing catch-up. I need to keep him in front of me. Wakataka Kage, as you'd expect, received huge attention, as indeed did his 2 brothers. His first match as champion featured Raging Bull Terunofuji. And you can again see why even Hakuho supports him. The right knee keeping so strong in the face of Hokuto's left side attacks. He so wants that belt. I stuck to him as planned, but being wary of a pivot throw, could not charge forward as usual, said Hokuto. Hit hard at the tachiai and attack from below, said Waka, adding, there's no big change in the way I feel. I've prepared as normal, despite the hype. Chief Judge Isegahama says 10 May wins are needed for a July Ozeki challenge. No Fukushima man has got there since 1881. We were also keen to see how Waka's crestfallen playoff victim Takayasu would fare on his first public outing since, and in front of his mother. But it was Mitake Umi's mum who got her promised victory gift on Mothering Sunday. I was slow starting but made power tell at the end, Mitake said. And his was the only Ozeki win today, as first Taka Keisho, then Shodai lost to foes they'd conquered in March. Thank goodness they didn't lose then. His name finally adorns the men here at Nominosukune Shrine. Not this one loved by Hakuho, but the one just down the street from here. Teru was supposed to stamp feet there on Yokozuna debut last September. Instead, he did so last Friday, with none of us told. Pre-meet prep, including bouts at interstable practice, was described by his coach as better than last time. But better enough to defeat Daieisho. Seemingly not. The two problem areas of late, left knee and right ankle, both jumping ship. Teru's first set of straight defeats at Yokozuna. Rusty after time away. That's how I describe his charge, said Chairman Hakkaku in the absence of comment from the man himself. It's a little too high and invites pushing attack. If you don't lean in, you don't get the belt. He has nothing to lose by pulling out, certainly not his rank, which is fixed. But nobody wants that yet, least of all Teru. First night nerves have struck him before, and he's come back to conquer. Let's just see if he wins tomorrow.